Well guys, welcome back to another video. I've got my all important coffee this morning to kickstart the day. Excited to see what we're going to come across. Now, I've came back onto the streets of Vancouver today to do some more street photography. Now, the main reason for that is we're still dealing with a lot of smoke from further inland from the wildfires. Now, it has been encroaching on the city. It's been quite surreal some days. It's been really thick, like a thick smog over the city. You look over to the skyline, the mountains have disappeared, and you've got all the skyscrapers in amongst all this smoke. So it hasn't made for great conditions for street photography either because of all the smoke. You're inhaling it and it's been quite strong at times, so I've kind of stopped away. Now, I came out the other morning just for sunrise, just to give it a recce to see how bad the smoke was, and it was quite amazing to see. As the sun came up, we had this glow, this orange glow in amongst all the smoke. You couldn't see the mountains at all. It was quite apocalyptic, so I grabbed an image so I could show you guys, and then basically headed back home because there was no chance of any photography. It was a bit smoky and a bit uncomfortable to walk through the streets while we had all that smoke. Now, we have had a lot of wind, we've had some rain, so hopefully that rain's helped with those wildfires. Now, the wind seems to have cleared some of the smoke that we did have, so that's why I've came out today. And that's another reason I haven't got back out and to do some landscapes at this moment in time, but I'm really enjoying doing my street. Now, it's great to read your comments, it's great to read your comments on the previous videos. It's nice to know that people are enjoying my street photography, so that's a thumbs up. And I really enjoy bringing you these videos, so yeah, let's see what we can get today. So what I'm looking for today, we are going to get some sunshine later on. I'm looking for those harsh, bright, contrasty scenes that make for great black and white photography. I'm looking for subjects, interesting subjects, just basically anything that's happening on the street that grabs me attention. That's what I'm going to be looking for. So I'm going to finish this coffee, get packed up, make our way onto the street, see what we can come across, wait for this light to change, but here's to a good day. Now, someone had left a comment in my last video, you know, why do I shoot at a wider aperture a lot of the time? Now, if you haven't got that light, if the light's really poor and I'm wanting that quicker shutter speed, I tend to shoot at around about 2.8, sometimes 1.4. Now, the reason for that is if your subject's going to be the most important part of the image and your background isn't particularly, you know, pleasing to the eye, I haven't got a problem with blurring out that background, because what I want the viewer's attention to go to is the subject that I'm photographing. Now, if you've got those bright conditions and it's really sunny skies, you can close down the aperture. And the reason I do that is if my subject's going to be part of the background and the background's really interesting, I'll shoot it round about f8 and make sure that everything's sharp. So I play around with different f-stops. There isn't, you know, you don't have to set it to f8 and everything's to be sharp all the time. The main thing is decide what you want in focus before you take the shot. If the background's interesting, have the background sharp. If it's mainly about the subject, get your subject sharp. And shooting at those wider apertures is going to make sure that you get those higher shutter speeds. You don't have to bump up your ISO, because if you bump up your ISO too much, you are going to introduce noise into the blacks, into the shadows, and that's not what you want. The cleaner the picture, the more the image is going to stand out. So that's what you've got to decide when you're taking shots in the street. basically what you want in focus. So what I'm doing is I'm actually going through these alleyways now to see if I can come across any characters and get some images, some nice black and white in these alleyways. Now I've actually just passed the guy who's actually asleep in one of these alcoves just behind us there. Now I don't want to point the camera at him, I don't want to wake him up, but I am going to venture back through the alleyway to get a photograph of him. And what it is, he's actually got his feet up against this alcove and he's fast asleep. So what I want is a shot of is I want to actually get a photo of his legs. I don't want you to see his face. I want to get behind him and then shoot up the alleyway just so I can get an image of his legs. It really makes for an interesting shot, and that's what you've got to try and do. You've got to try and make sure that you get the images, but in a respectful way. Don't point the camera in someone's face. There's always a way around getting the image without having to do that. So what I tend to do is I actually get behind my subjects, make it look like I'm photographing something else, and I'll grab the image. Now I don't want you to see the guy's face, because I think the fact that you can just see his legs makes it really interesting, adds an area of interest, because you wonder who the guy is. So I'm going to get back now, grab this image, and I'll put it on the screen now. So I tried those couple of shots in the alleyway there. I was really pleased because the guy, he just stayed asleep long enough for us to grab the image, because I really wanted to show you how not including someone's face adds that area of interest, makes the image a lot more interesting to look at, because you don't know who the character is. And not long after he woke up and he disappeared, we did actually get some sunlight in the alleyway, and you'll be able to see how it created these shapes. We had the nice high contrast scene there, and luckily a woman actually came into the alleyway and sat in one of the alcoves that I was photographing. So that should make for a really nice black and white. I love those high contrasty scenes where I've got those bright highlights and the dark shadows. It really does make for great black and white. So I'm thoroughly enjoying the morning. I'm going to continue my walk around downtown. I'm really enjoying myself this morning, getting a bag full of images, and that's a good thing about the street. you'll often find that you'll get plenty of images even when you haven't got those bright conditions. Now today luckily we've had those bright conditions, so I've been able to show you how you can photograph subjects with the light on them, them nice dark shadows so the subject stands out, not showing the faces, to add the area of mystery. Now I photographed a dog earlier on. Now I didn't put the owner in the shot, I just wanted the owner's hands. She was actually bending down to feed the dog, so looking for gestures like that. The area of interest was the dog itself, so that's why I just wanted the expression on the dog's face, and hopefully I captured that. Now I've came round, I've walked around quite a bit this morning. Now I've came to a building that I crossed paths with this morning. Now we've got some lovely sunlight on it now, and it's really contrasty scene. There's some nice vertical lines there, some nice squares, and there's also an old lamp there, so I'm going to use that as part of the shot. I'm going to put that lamp in the center of the image. So I'm going to get on, hopefully you can hear this, grab this image and we'll see how it works out. So I tried that image back there, but I've actually came to this alleyway literally around the corner. Really love the way that the light's hitting this alleyway. There's some nice contrast there, some nice dark shadows that I like, and those bright highlights. We've got areas of interest along the floor itself. We've got these hoops, I think they're maybe for locking bikes up, but I think there's a couple of images in here. There is an area at the other end of the alleyway where the sidewalks actually lit up at this moment in time, but because we've got the dark shadows to the left hand side and underexposed and making them even darker, the subject really stands out, so that's what I want to capture. And I'm also going to capture a shot up the way, incorporating these hoops, incorporating more of the brickwork on the wall, and we'll see how it works out. But really enjoying today. Well guys, I hope you like those last couple of images. I just managed to capture them before that light disappeared. It didn't last long, it only lasted a few minutes before the sun moved and the alleyway that I was photographing, the light disappeared. So that's why you've got to react quick. The DJI Pocket 2 that I'm using, the battery's actually died now, so that's maybe a time for me to call it a day, but I've had an absolute brilliant day out, I really have, and I hope you've enjoyed it too. You know, we've got those overcast conditions this morning, then the sun came out, give us those nice contrasty scenes that I like for black and white. I'm sure I've got a bag full of images to go back to when I get back home, and I can't wait to have a look at them to see how they came out and bring them to you guys. Now I am getting hungry, it's early afternoon now, so I'm going to head into Vancouver and grab a bite to eat. But I hope you've taken something away from today's video. You know, I said to you earlier on the day, you know, street photography is as easy as you make it, and the easier you make it, the more successful you are going to be with your images. And the main thing to remember is don't directly point at your subject that you're photographing. You know, you can sit on a seat like that I'm sitting now, look over to the area that you're going to take a photograph, pre-focus, manual focus on that area, and wait for your subject to stand in the shot. Because when you point the camera directly at someone, it puts tension between you and the person that you're photographing, and the shot tends to be, it's not as candid because they know and they realise that you're taking the photo. So I hope you take that on and try it for yourself when you're trying street photography, and that's what I want you to do. If you haven't done street photography, get out there, give it a go and see what you think. So let us know in the comments below what you thought of today's video. Do you want to have a go yourself? Have you already had a go? Let us know how you're getting on with it if you've had a go, and let us know if you're enjoying it or not. It is time to head back now, so hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, it's much appreciated. I can't wait to bring you another video. I don't know if it's going to be street or landscape photography. If you haven't seen my videos before, hit the subscribe button. But from me and downtown Vancouver, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.